No.
It's so hard. Feel free to turn around and conduct me. Well, turn around. I'm not proud, really. It's so hard not to speed up.
Oh, you're being paid for greatly.
No, I don't mind. This is why I don't mind. I don't see a clock. I don't know when to start.
4 minutes.
Okay, my prelude is a minute and a quarter, so I don't know when to start it. That's the,
Well,
at about a
that
minute,
on the
and I didn't see the
side,
clock.
no, prelude. I'm not sure.
I guess we asked Walter if we start a minute 40 before.
I'll just ask Walter to give me the cue.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
you come from, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you.
Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Toledo. Unitarian Universalists create spirituality and communities beyond boundaries, working for more justice and more love in our own lives and in the world. We're happy to have you with us this morning. We extend an especially warm welcome to those of you that are visiting today. I invite you to take note of the cards in the hymn rack in front of you. You will note the yellow card. We invite you to fill out whatever information is comfortable for you to provide us. And we invite our own members to fill that card out as well. If you provide your email address, we will send you our weekly e-news that has information about our services and programs and ways for you to become involved here at church. You will notice the pretty little chalice card in the pew in front, in the hymn rack in front of you. You are welcome to take that home with you. It has important contact information of people here at church. And there's also an envelope for donations and pledge payments. We thank you in advance for your generosity. There are a number of announcements today. We would like to thank Tom Sheehan for providing music for today's service as we're between music directors. And thank you to our singers for today as well. Well, we continue the search for a new church musician. If you're musically inclined, you're invited, like Tom was, to play an anthem or hymn on Sundays, or prepare the complete music for a service. Contact Reverend Tim if you'd like to perform and accompany on August 28th or September 4th. These slots are still open. Tomorrow is the day of our monthly third morning breakfast bunch, which meets at 9:15 at Reynolds Garden Cafe on Reynolds Road near Airport Highway. Feel free to just show up, but if you know in advance that you'll be there, tell Carrie Baum and she'll know better how many seats to request at the restaurant. The multi-faith meditation sessions are back live and in person, as well as continuing on Zoom. The sitting begins Tuesdays at 6:30 here at the church in the Carl Sagan room. You enter that door that is through the door that's across from the church garage. I hope you can join us for that. The Toledo Pride Parade is at noon this coming Saturday, August 20th. The Toledo Unitarians plan to be a part of the Northwest Ohio Unitarian Universalist contingent marching in the parade. If you're interested in participating, please contact Jenny Gottman or David Strickler. Also on Saturday is the recently begun UU Film Club. For this month, we will watch the film If Beale Street Could Talk on our own and then meet at 6 p.m. on August 20th at Bravo, which is at the Franklin Park Mall, for a discussion and to share a meal. Please anticipate separate checks. And if you are able to attend that, RSVP to Judy or Dave Murray. Next Saturday, 8/21, from 3 to 7, next Sunday, 8/21 from 3 to 7 p.m., you're invited to attend the annual Multi-Faith Picnic, which is at the Islamic Center of Greater Toledo in Perrysburg. Our own Reverend Tim will be offering a blessing for students, teachers, and school personnel who will be returning to school. And on this coming Wednesday evening, August 17th, Multi-Faith Council of Northwest Ohio is sponsoring a fundraiser at the Chipotle restaurant at Westgate. Chipotle will donate 30% of the total net sales of purchases from 4 to 8 p.m. All you need to do is show this certificate, and I'll have it out on the table after the service. You can show a paper copy or a digital copy, and then we will receive benefit from your having participated. And our rummage sale is set for September 10th. Let's see. Don't want to get mixed up here on these announcements. This is also called the Hoarder Downsizing Sale. Sue Childers is this year's organizer, and she is asking for helpers for both the day of the event and for the time leading up to the event to help collect and price donated items. If you have a truck, we'd like to call on you to pick up a few big or heavy items. More people involved in the sale mean less individual time and labor commitments, so it benefits all of us. Please contact Sue Childers and let her know what you're willing to do and what rummage you might be donating. And lastly, there will be a Labor Day picnic on Labor Day here at church, September 5th, from 12 to 4 p.m. You're invited to bring your own meat, unless you're a vegetarian, of course, and a dish to pass. And games can also be brought along. I believe that I covered all the announcements, so we can begin our service. The opening words today are by W. Waldemar W. Argo, who was a minister here at this church many years ago. Religion is the first and last, the universal language of the human heart. Differing words describe the outward appearance of things. Diverse symbols represent that which stands beyond and within. Yet every person's hunger is the same, and heart communicates with heart. Ever the vision leads on with many gods or with one, with a holy land washed by ocean waters, or a holy land within the heart.
Karen Christie is our Sunday associate today, and I thank Karen for reading that long list of announcements. It's a joy to hear that there is so much going on in our congregation, and that it's stuff that you can take part in. I also want to let you know that today we're trying something for accessibility. We have an FM transmitter, and we are broadcasting on FM 89.1, which at the moment does not reach the full building, but I have an earphone that I'm trying to do some testing with. So if I'm distracted, let's blame it on this and not on myself. And there is a very interesting phenomenon right now, because I chose 89.1 because it was an open frequency, but depending on where we stand right now, it's either First Unitarian or something bleeds through, and it is a very Christian radio station coming in. and it just blasted me in the ear for that. So welcome all. Let's proceed with our chalice lighting. This is by Beth Casebolt, who is a member of our regional UUA staff. The light of this chalice reminds us that it is a symbol of all the world's religions. This small light shines, as do the fires burned to ward off the darkness and welcome back the sun in the Celtic and Native American faiths, as do the Jewish Shabbat candles and the Christian altar candles, as do the oil lamps of the Hindu Diwali and the candles of Buddhism. And it is a symbol of the light inside each of us, as recognized by Muslims. It is a symbol of the sun and evolution as studied by humanists. As we light this chalice, may we be reminded that this light is a symbol that ties us to many faiths, beliefs, and customs from which we can learn and enrich our lives. And please join me in reciting the covenant, which is printed in the order of service and which we have on our screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And I invite our choir to come up as we get ready to sing our opening hymn, which is number 1031 in the Teal Book, Filled with Loving Kindness.
And we invite you all to sing along. This is kind of a meditative hymn, so you may want to remain seated, but that's up to you. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
And we invite Krista Schneider up to give our story this morning. Krista?
I'm a ninja. Good morning. This is a list of golden rules compiled from many and varied world religions. Buddhism. Hurt not others with that which pains yourself. Islam. Do unto all as you would wish to have done unto you. Hinduism. Treat others as you would yourself be treated. Christianity. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Judaism. What you yourself hate, do to no one. Native American traditions and religions. Live in harmony, for we are all related. Wiccan. And ye harm none, do what ye will. Confucian. Do not do to others what you would not like yourself. It seems that when each religion picks one single, most important thing, one golden rule, they don't say, oh, remember the Sabbath, or don't eat pork, or here's the deal with reincarnation. All these religions choose a rule about treating others with loving kindness. So what do these rules mean? Some of it's kind of obvious, right? Don't insult people or say mean things. Always use gentle hands with any person or any animal, even my cat. Be just. And then some of the meaning is a little less obvious. Realize that you're not any more important than other people, and that your preferred way of doing things is not always the best. This last part is something that, in my case, we, white people, really need to work on learning. Realize that other people have ideas about what's important to them, and that might be different than what's important to you. That brings us to the Unitarian Universalist Platinum Rule, which is a step above the Golden Rule. The Platinum Rule says to do unto others as they want done unto them. What does that mean? How is that different from the Golden Rule? To do unto others as they want done unto them. Well, imagine for a second that you're a monkey living in the jungle. Your favorite thing in the world is climbing high up in the canopy of trees where you get a view of the whole jungle. You're really comfortable, secure, and happy when you're way above the ground. Now, imagine that a huge rainstorm comes along and causes a flood. You see lots of animals scurrying up trees to get out of the water. But you can see that the piranhas and other fish can't climb trees. You're worried that they're not high up enough in the trees where you have found safety. So you grab as many fish as you can and reach and take them up into the canopy with you. What's going to happen? You've followed the Golden Rule, but doing that has actually caused them harm. That's why UUs have added the Platinum Rule. The Platinum Rule exists to make sure that we consider not just what's best for ourselves, but that other people and animals might have different ideas about what's best for them. If the monkey had asked the fish whether they wanted to be in the tree, always ask them if they wanted to be in the tree rather than just grabbing them and moving them, things would have turned out very differently. So, if you want to help somebody who is having trouble, who is sad, who is hurt, that's great. We should help other people. The thing we need to remember is to ask people if they want help and ask them what kind of help would be best for them. If you have a friend who is sad, ask them, do you want a hug? Or Do you want to talk about it? Or do you want to be left alone for a little while? If you see someone who is having trouble rolling their wheelchair over a bump in the sidewalk, ask if they would like you to give them a gentle push. If you see a fish in a flood in the jungle, ask if they'd like to be carried into a tree. I notice it is raining today, so this might come up on your way home. Wanting to help others is good. What's even better, actually helping others the way they want to be helped. Thank you.
Thank you. And now the kids and helpers are dismissed to religious education time. Sandra Kozik-Sills will be in charge today. So please go with Sandra.
Our centering music today is a Gregorian chant, Ubi Caritas. This chant, the melody and the words probably date from around the 8th century. And the first line, Ubi Caritas et amor Deus ibi est, means where there is charity and love, God is there. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est, congregavit nos in unum Christi amor, exultemus et in ipso iucundemus, timeamus et amemus Deum vivum, et ex corredi ligamus nos in cielo. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est, simul ergo cum in unum congregamur, ne nos mente dividamur, haveamus cessant iuria maligna, cessant lites, et in medio nostris sit Christus Deus. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est.
Please join me and in a way continue a time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer. There is much going on in the world, in our lives, in our circles, with our health, and that is on our minds, in our hearts. These are words by Nancy Schaefer. Because she wanted everyone to feel included in her prayer, she said right at the beginning several names for the holy. Spirit, she said. Holy One, Mystery, God. But then, thinking these weren't enough ways of addressing that which cannot be fully addressed, she added particularities, saying, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Ancient Holy One, mystery we will not ever fully know, gracious God, and also Spirit of this earth, God of Sarah, Gaia, Thou. And then, tongue loosened, she fell to naming superlatives as well. Most creative one, greatest source, closest hope. Even though superlatives for the sacred seemed to her probably redundant, but then she couldn't stop. One who made the stars, she said, although she knew technically a number of those present didn't believe the stars had been made by any one or thing, but just luckily happened. One who is an entire ocean of compassion, she said, and no one laughed. That which has been present since before the beginning, she said, and the room was silent. Then, although she hadn't imagined it this way, others began to offer names. Peace, said one. One my mother knew, said another. Ancestor, said a third. Wind, rain, breath, said one near the back. Refuge, that which holds all. A child said, water. Someone said, Kuan Yin. Then, womb, witness, great kindness, eternal stillness. And then there wasn't any need to say the things she'd thought would be important to say, and everyone sat hushed until someone said, Amen. Let's ourselves be hushed for 1 minute of silence.
The reading for today is a responsive reading, so you are invited to read the response. This is by Jacob Trapp. Each of the great religions has a distinctive note. In Hinduism, it is the note of spirit. In Buddhism, it is the wisdom of self-discipline. In Confucianism, it is reciprocity. In Taoism, it is to conquer by inaction. In Judaism, it is the exodus from bondage. In Islam, it is the note of submission. In Christianity, it is that all may become one.
The living tradition we share draws from many sources. Wisdom from the world's religions, which inspires us in our ethical and spiritual life. Grateful for the religious pluralism which enriches and ennobles our faith. We are inspired to deepen our understanding and expand our vision. Here's the deal with world religions. We Unitarian Universalists hold that there isn't one true faith. There isn't one group of chosen people whom we must join in belief for some celestial salvation to come to us. We recognize more that being religious is part of the human condition. We're wide enough in our interpretation of what religion is that in Unitarian Universalist circles, we have believers, agnostics, and atheists, recognizing that even non-believers can themselves have and hold a sacred, even religious dimension. That people who say they are of no faith can be a part of our religious body. And we extend that to accepting that none of us has the complete truth. But world religions all have their pieces of truth, and we can be inspired by different aspects of different religions. We Unitarian Universalists look for wisdom, and in world religions, we can find wisdom to inspire us in our ethical and spiritual living. Recognizing world religions is kind of a turning point in Unitarian history. Many of you know that Unitarianism was once a Christian faith. Depending on how you want to tell our story, it goes back to the year 325 of the Christian Empire and the Council of Nicaea, when our ancestors in this sacred path wouldn't accept the concept of a holy trinity, so they were derisively called Unitarians, and we took and treasured that label that was heresy to some. Or you look at Unitarianism in North America, from the times of the Pilgrims and Puritans, and how Unitarianism took shape by resisting one established state religion with its beliefs, and our Unitarians taking a new part in the state, giving supporting funding to our congregations. That is wrapped up in the long word you might have enjoyed as a kid, anti-disestablishmentarianism. And then in the 19th century, the time of Ralph Waldo Emerson, who had been a Unitarian minister but resigned, the story says because he could not hold his own truths while performing some Christian ceremonial practices. And instead, what became what we call today a public intellectual, a poet, essayist, and speaker who was part of an influential group, the Transcendentalists. Emerson and the Transcendentalists are largely attributed today with introducing Asian religions to the American and European conversation in their movement and in the publication The Dial, translating some inspirational readings from other world religions. In 1844, the Unitarian and Transcendentalist Elizabeth Palmer Peabody made the first English translation of Buddhist scripture, part of the Lotus Sutra, and it was published in The Dial. Unitarianism would not be the same as our revelation was opened beyond the Jewish and Christian traditions. We progressed to today as the Unitarian and Universalist denominations converged a little more than 6 decades ago. We became much more accepting that under one religious roof, we can have many spiritual approaches, that the sacred doesn't have one fixed home, that the holy comes from people and traditions all over the world. Plus, we Unitarian Universalists became more comfortable with combination as we took up and kept the 10 syllables of Unitarian Universalism, sometimes shortening one of the two consolidating denominations, like our keeping First Unitarian Church of Toledo and calling ourselves the Toledo Unitarians, but also knowing that area Universalist congregations that kept Universalist only, and also in Northwest Ohio, having some Unitarian Universalist churches. Even with the wording variations, we're Unitarian Universalist congregations, while we also recognize that among us continue to be individuals who only identify as Universalist and others only as Unitarian. But we also have UUs who have incorporated embodied other faiths into their religious identification. There are UU Buddhists, UU Christians, UU Hindus, UU Muslims. They might not live their faith in a manner that traditional Buddhists, Christians, Hindus, Muslims, whatever sacred tradition they carry, would be recognized by people in those single traditions. And that includes UU humanists, UU atheists, even UUs who have difficulty with just the UU letters. But their inspiration from world religions, whether they be grounded in those religions too, or just take the inspiration without the full mantle, inspires their ethical and spiritual life. Unitarian Universalism has become a multi-faith place. It's more than accepting people of different beliefs and trying to work together, that sounds a lot like what's come to be known as interfaith cooperation. And we do more than look at the intersections, the somewhat traditional Jewish, Christian, and Muslim people of the book interactions finding their commonality. We don't just bring other world religions into a circle in which we're each distinct. We recognize distinction, we find commonality, but we also take those faiths in as inspiration for our ethical and spiritual life as Unitarian Universalists. There are prophetic words and deeds in many religions all over the world. We Unitarian Universalists recognize that and take up those prophetic ways not as religious or cultural appropriation, but in a respectful recognition and inclusion of principles and people. To have our full seeking and sometimes finding faith made more foundational as a religion of this world that we know and are still learning about. The religious practices and resources of people all over the world can help our own sacred aspects. Their ethical and spiritual ways can help in our own morality and religious seating and expression. We're not trying to take the best of each and make one new world religion, one true faith. Maybe we're identifying the commonalities as they're expressed differently in many world religions, as well as the uniqueness in individual expressions, and have all of that be part of our own seeking and sometimes finding, and not just the wisdom given by so many world religions, but the people who live it, show it, and come into the beloved community we hope to be part of building. It's all kind of the folk tradition of stone soup, in which everyone contributes to a common meal that is made so much better by the combination of what each of us brings. We get a stone soup sacredness by bringing world religions into our common pot. And we find that the best dinner is one that's shared. That spiritual meal, dare I say communion, is the wisdom of this world. So be it.
The reading for our offering today is by Caleb Parker. We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. You can give electronically by going to our website, uutoledo.org. Then click on Give and then click on Online Giving. And you are also welcome to mail a check at First Unitarian Church of Toledo, 3205 Glendale Avenue, Toledo, 43614. And for those of you that are here in person, you are welcome to leave your contribution in the basket that is out on the table at the end of the service. We are most grateful for your contributions.
So the coming soon portion of the service. Next week, our 9:45 a.m. spiritual forum. We don't have the topic yet. We've been kind of improvising through August. Today we saw a video on Henry David Thoreau, practices inspired by Thoreau in today's world. And next week, we might do a video on something with Judaism and Christianity, or we might have a discussion, or we might figure something else out. You'll have to come at 9:45 and figure out and be part of that gathering. Then the 11 a.m. service is Judaism and Christianity teach us.
And today, after the service, you're invited to join us for coffee hour and social time. This will be an opportunity for you to ask questions of us and learn more about our church. For the closing words, these are written by Adlai Stevenson. I think one of the most important tasks is to convince others that there's nothing to fear in difference. That difference, in fact, is one of the most healthy and invigorating of human characteristics, without which life would become meaningless. Here lies the power of the liberal way, not in making the whole world Unitarian, but in helping ourselves and others to see some of the possibilities inherent in the viewpoints other than our own, in encouraging the free interchange of ideas, in welcoming fresh approaches to the problems of life, in urging the fullest, most vigorous use of critical self-examination.
I invite the choir to come up for the postlude as we send the flame of our chalice into the community. While it shows external differences, may it help us to see our commonalities as well. Though we're diverse in our bodies and in our beliefs, we all have light, we all feel heat. We can gather round the fire and learn together.
And please do stand as willing and able to join in hymn number 187. It sounds along the ages.
It sounds along the ages, so let the angels song. It kindles on the pages of every Bible scroll. The psalmist stood and sang it from heart to mystic road. And prophets of praise to sleepy nations born. From sonnets gifted echo, it breathed from moon and stream. Its charming anthems marked in hallowed Galilee. The heavens stroke of Luther, the pilgrim sings a prayer. The echoes of Concord, one holy word declare. It forever on resounding and rolling tide of time. Our lost but gives on music of its eternal shine.
Except we sang hears instead of heard.
The speed was good? Okay.